What's up, boys? We're back with some more Spell Brigade Update 11. We're trying to do some more interesting builds with Pipwick because the random elemental infusion chance is really cool. It seems kind of fun to try and build around that with some weapons that are synergistic with it. I think the Rune Burst spell, which is very similar to the Zuka from DRG Survivor, would be pretty cool. You can turn that into sort of a Death Spiral bullet hell type thing. I'll grab a bit of duration there, I suppose. I'm not really going to be investing into the Imp a whole lot because I've done builds with that before. But every single bullet of the Rune Burst rolls the random infusion chance separately. So like a single cast of that could potentially have like 4 or 5 different elements on it. Although that's extremely unlikely since I think the random chance is about 5%. But you might get maybe 2 different ones every once in a while, so it's pretty cool. We could go for the laser beams. If we can get at least 1 lightning infusion on those to improve the AoE a bit, I think that would be pretty cool. By default, they just hit 1 target, and you're just never going to kill stuff in an AoE without having some of that. Necro Whirl would probably be pretty good. That's the one that drops the constantly damaging circles on the ground. Very good at applying lots of hits over time, although you won't really roll the infusion chance that much. Whenever you do, you'll get lots of hits off with it. I guess little Dark Imp there. Doesn't actually seem to be doing anything to them though. Oh, they are taking a little bit of dark damage there still. I guess it's when they run into each other or something? I thought it was supposed to be some sort of mind control thing. But there were some dark damage pulses coming out there still, like seconds after the imp died. But we're just going to try and get the new spells quickly here, and then try and put a lot of levels into either the 2nd or 3rd spell, whichever sounds the coolest to go with the infusion stuff. None of these sound that interesting. I guess Solar Pulse. This has a new augmentation at least. It deals more damage the closer to the middle they are, which doesn't really synergize with the infusion thing. But we can get some decent cast speed and area on it, and it should actually look pretty cool. You get those different color pulses every once in a while, I guess. I don't see why you can't reroll on the spell choices. That seems like probably the most helpful thing you could even reroll for like trying to create an interesting build. We'll go for the Solar Pulse since I'm trying to scale that up now. Maybe we could get Necro Whirl as the 3rd one and just have like a full circle build. What is the base cast time on that? It's 2 a second. I guess one pretty big issue with the Solar Pulse is the augments in general aren't really very interesting. Especially for like a primary damage spell. Like we could probably see a few of them here. Like area based on your health being lower. I wish they would give you a bit more information about this, like is it 50% if I'm almost dead or what? Can we see anything about that here? No, that's unfortunate. Can I see anything about it here? I don't think so. Can we see the area at least? Okay, so 2.46. So I'll take some damage and we'll see if I can sort of guess how effective that is. once the stampede passes me. Make sure I can actually avoid some of that. So we're about half, and that went up by about 0.44, I think it is. So maybe 20% or so, somewhere around there. Probably a bit less at half HP. So I guess it probably is about 50% if you're at 1 HP. Obviously you're going to die if you do that. Decent crit chance, that's pretty nice. I'll do the armor, I suppose. Since we're going to be trying to play around that extra AoE, I will need some decent survivability to not get myself killed. Will be a low life Rageous Fire build, I guess. Ooh, very nice. Now, can I tell if that's additive or not? Probably not. I think they are additive. That didn't actually improve that much. We were at 2.8 or 2.9. We gained less than 10% total off of that. Is that right? That sounds really bad. Wasn't it around 30% on that upgrade? That does not seem like much of an upgrade there. I'll do, I guess, the duration here. I don't think pickup is all that strong of a stat in this game. XP just waits around forever for you. Ooh, cast speed, that's the main thing we want for it. You can get magnets pretty frequently later on anyways. We'll probably want a lightning infusion on this just to extend the range a bit. It doesn't actually seem that much bigger. I'll take the solar pulse level here. Let's take a bit of damage to get that back up. But yeah, we have a legendary size and an almost maxed out augmentation. That's pretty risky to use and still kind of on the small side, I feel like. What is it with the very low HP? 3.4. I think it started in the low 2s, right? So all of that has gotten us maybe 50% or so? But ideally you wouldn't be quite this low. Crit chance, sure. It'll be pretty helpful if we can get the leeching item thingy. Did that guy detonate instantly, or did I just not see that? Let's go... I'll do a little bit of pickup, I guess. Nothing super great for the solar pulse there. there's the ether beam. We'll probably need a lot of investment into that. I'm thinking we probably go Arcane Broadsword. I think that will unlock the spell size global upgrade for the 2 of those. And they kind of do the same thing, where you have like an AoE around you and kind of short range, so kind of functions similarly to the solar pulse, I think. Standing still is so hard. I think we'll have to take that. Can't even reroll here. You'd probably need really good survivability relics, like including the leech thing, so you can at least heal up from mistakes to even attempt to pull off some sort of standing still build, I feel like. And you definitely need at least 1, probably 2 frost infusions. We'll go cast speed for the broadsword here. Start leveling up the fun stats for that a bit as well. I'll do luck to improve the future rarity. Solar pulse. All that AoE and it's still so small. I guess I should take 1 hit to get the AoE back up a bit. I guess we just really need a lightning infusion. Alright, I guess, well, you're supposed to be able to reroll the infusions, right? I better save the 2 that I have. I'll go, I guess, duration here. Cast speed, yeah. Please give me a lightning infusion for the solar pulse. Oh god, a spell core quest. That quest is so bad. Then we will have to pull them very far away to try and get the final one. I guess the armor here. I need the solar pulse so badly that you can't afford to spend rerolls on anything, I guess. How? Okay. I barely dodged that. Kinda cheesy. are the stupid cores so buggy, dude? God, this quest is so bad. Decent size there. Size over time, or that's the new one, more damage towards its center. I mean, I have so much AoE and it's still so tiny. Let's go with some size over here then, I guess. Or maybe if we get the lightning infusion, that'll pay off. Yeah, I really need some damage. That'll probably give me the most damage, I guess. Maximize the solar pulse and try to get some extra AoE for it. Okay, cast speed, see what we got here. So you can't reroll on these. What was he talking about? I guess we'll take ice here for extra CC. I swear I saw someone say that you could reroll the infusions. But I still have all of my reroll saved and I don't see anything there. Am I just going to die because my AoE is so bad still? Because I didn't get a lightning infusion? Let's go size here, I guess. Ice is nice, but there's just so many enemies. Necro Whirl, we can try that out, and then I think size will work on all three of those. Only we had gotten that as the second spell. I think that's actually a really good one to go with the infusion stuff. But we're already like 3 augmentations deep onto— oh right, I've been forgetting the items. I hope you can stockpile some of those, or I might have missed one. 10% for every infusion. I usually regret taking that one. That actually would fit, since we're trying to stay low HP for the extra AoE. Honestly, I'm down for that. May as well try the full low HP build, I guess. Okay, thank God, you can't lose them. They'll just stick around on the map. Okay. That's so stupid that they can spawn right on top of you like that. Okay, full low HP. Yeah, I really feel like they should make those stampede waves dodgeable. They shouldn't just be like that, you know? Where they hit you before you can even see where the opening is. Actually, don't want the potion here. It doesn't look like I can even go that way. It doesn't look like I can even go that way. How am I supposed to damage the crab? What? Size, and then let's take 1 hit for the relics and the solar pulse stuff. You know what? we'll try and make sure that I do everything possible to get the crab, so maximum risk, hopefully some reward for this. At that level, I will definitely use a potion. I'll do damage there, that's one away on one of the spells we're trying to scale up. We might have to use a life to try and go for this. Okay, maybe not. Additional whirl is pretty good, that's really hard to use. That's kind of risky. And I'm not even sure if there's anything super good for the solar pulse. Like I said, the damage augmentations for that are pretty underwhelming, I feel like. Like they're mostly utility based. Less damage when enemies are close. I guess that does help quite a bit with the low HP build though. Solar Pulse. Let's grab an augmentation. It's cast speed, which is the main thing we want. Then we'll go Acid here for some extra defense reduction. That one item just doesn't really seem that strong. Up to 21% movement speed for being low on HP. That just doesn't sound good. I think that one's not terrible. You can at least get a bunch of different stats off of levels, but just 21% movement for a very risky playstyle. I'm gonna take one more hit, I think. Since we have 3 things that scale with that though. Toss a reroll. We can get a bit of cast speed, that's close to an infusion. Cast speed, sure. Big cast speed for the Necro World. Very big cast speed. Alright, I guess Necro Whirl is the second spell after all, since we got a good augmentation for that and some nice legendaries. Spell damage. Yeah, I'll take that. Wait for something more interesting there. Speed, there we go. I guess probably just more ice. That will at least give us a lot longer range on that. Oops. I feel like those guys have like extended range sometimes. Like, I was going really far in one direction, and then I went perpendicular to that, and it somehow still hit me that far off to the side. Maybe it's just like a big AoE as they land or something? And you're supposed to just keep going in a straight line. Size is pretty nice. Would be cool if we could get an infusion on that for the boss, maybe. Spell damage, yeah. Fortunately, we don't have much luck on this run, and I haven't seen much of it. Nice size there. What does that look like at half HP now? 3.49. I feel like most of the low HP stuff should just be a bit better for how risky it is. Oh no, maybe there's some cool combo for it that I'm just missing. Spell damage on the imp, I don't really care that much. We can bring that one 3 away. Solar Pulse is probably better damage, but cast speed's more fun. We could definitely use some cast speed on the Necro Whirl. And then probably cast speed there. You know, a melee build's going to be terrible against this guy, isn't it? The homing things are going to be insanely annoying. Speed if they're pretty close. More elemental effects, more fun. Just had a lightning infusion, I could bounce a lot more hits over to him from enemies that are like close to him. I need to take some damage for some of our buffs. Definitely shouldn't be at full HP. Nice armor. Oops, don't want to be that low actually. Damage, that's one away. If we could get that, I think that probably helps the most against the boss, since we'll at least get a few of those on him randomly, but it's so hard to hit him with the melee stuff. I feel like the homing things need to be more visible as they're flying through the horde of enemies. It's very easy to completely miss those. Nice damage on the swords. Up a bit. Cast speed gets us an infusion there. And then probably lightning to improve the AoE. We are sorely lacking on that, missing it on everything else. Nice cast speed. That is kind of cheesy. Speeds. Broadsword's the weakest one, so we'll take a higher rarity there. Also, just can't really ever even hit this guy, and we really need to kill him fairly soon. That's one away afterwards. Yeah, we can try for that. Lightning there would still be pretty helpful. He's just constantly doing bullet hell thing. I can't even get close to the aura and the sword. Big damage on the imp, I guess. On the broadsword there. Probably not a big difference, but we'll see what we got. We can go double acid and have that as a big defense reduction. It's just so hard to get close to this guy. potion actually would be good if there are any close by. I don't see any though. Size into an infusion. Lightning, please. Okay. Did get one. We could do double frost. Greatly increased potency of the freezing. That's a tough choice. I'm kind of curious what happens if we get like the same element from the random infusion on top of that. Like if you can have 3 of them. I guess I'll actually try that. Hopefully the pulse pulls through for the boss. Like, there's just so many enemies and they're so fast. I can't possibly attack him. It just seems weird how little DPS uptime you get on the bosses. How tanky they are, I feel like. That one's done. I guess we'll take a duration level. They should either be a bit squishier, or we should have some more DPS uptime on them. Necrowhirl needs the levels. Like, you just can't even get close to them. Cast speed on the Necrowhirl. Super important. Okay, finally I hit him with 1 sword hit. And that's about all I could do. I guess probably size there. If we could get something good for the Necrowhirl, I think it's kind of hard to use that one. I only have 1 revive, so I probably shouldn't go too risky. We'll improve the range on that since it has a very strong debuff now with the double acid at least. That's nothing amazing here. If we can get lucky with the leech thing, then that'll be very good, so I guess we'll hope for that. There's already a decent number of items out of the pool now. That one is insanely good whenever you get it. Lightning on the double acid sword there. That's actually crazy. Double acid debuffs leaping around, big size there. It doesn't help with the infusion, but that's probably the most important thing we can get on it. And we'll have some time now with the boss to... I should take a bit of damage here. Jesus, 409 from the most basic trash mob. Well, the frost should actually keep those off of me, now that I think about it. We have double freezing. Oh man, the lightning necro world there, that's sick. Or wait, no, that was... we have lightning by default, that was a dark, I think. Chain dark bonus bouncing through them. No, the spell cores, why? That might not even be doable now. God, that quest is so bad, man. Need to take a hit for extra XP and AoE. Like, if it would spawn in, like, a completely open area, so you wouldn't have the walls constantly bugging them out, it would be a little bit more tolerable. But it is just so bad. Like, if the quests would spawn maybe, like, right here with the cores fairly close to it, I don't know. There's just so many places where it's so annoying to try and knock them through. That would probably be completely undoable if I didn't have the double frost solar pulse. And we still barely pulled it off. Necrowhirl moving towards targets, that sounds kind of cool. Kind of our main damage spell at this point, I think. Oh, I guess you can actually check that, right? Yeah, definitely our main damage spell despite not having a second infusion yet. Big crit chance there, yeah. Take another hit, I guess, as we're getting a bunch of XP. I probably need to get some more armor and life, to be honest. So that we're a bit more stable while being pretty low. I guess it's nice that you regenerate lives over time, at least. Plasma necro worlds are pretty cool when you get the extra fire in there. I don't think I'm gonna mess with this stampede right now. There's so many enemies, we need to keep them trimmed down. Finally, not a terrible quest. Probably going to have to try and slip out of the left side after going for the item here. I guess that might help out a little. We should probably get raw survivability. That's retroactive, right? 178? Yeah. So that I can be like super low and take a hit without dying for maximum bonuses. Sword side. Ooh, additional whirl. Alright, we definitely need to get a third infusion on that now. If only that was my second spell, I feel like this would actually be a pretty nice run. And I'm dead with no way to avoid that, unfortunately. We're not even that far into the level currently, so they shouldn't be unavoidable yet, right? Like, that usually happens right before the boss comes. We kind of need the infusion there. Size is so good, though. Size! Double freezing solar pulse, pretty good utility though. It's gotta be dead to the damage over time, so. I should take one hit here, get those stats up a bit. I don't have anywhere to go. Ooh, additional world. Yeah, look at those numbers. Let's get those numbers up. Have a remind back, so we'll want to go a bit lower. It would be a pretty cool build if it was actually like rewarding for how risky it is. But I think it's just not really tuned appropriately right now with all of the low life stuff. And I think the standing still base stuff is also on the weaker side for the most part. Low life and standing still are just super risky and not particularly rewarding with the current numbers. are we at on that? 3 times. May as well. Didn't even know you could get that many copies of the same that didn't even hit me, but okay. The same augmentation. I guess it's on a case-by-case basis for the different augmentations, maybe? That could be stacked. Big damage. Ooh, duration. Yeah, we need the infusion there. And broadsword's more of a utility thing with the double acids. I feel like we're getting massive slowdown when they're like funneling through a choke point and there's a ton of damage over time stuff hitting them at the same time. Feels very stuttery to me right now. Necro level, yep. I'll just have a revival. What is my XP modifier with all that? I guess that's on the tab screen. 61.4. Okay, we're at the part where the boss is almost up and they're completely surrounding me on the waves now. Just need to survive a little bit longer for him to come out, and then a bunch of them will die. That was a very slow level up. There's just no Necro here, my god. I guess we'll take some size on that as one of our highest level spells. Yeah, I would say those are the biggest issues with the bosses right now. They're both insanely tanky, but very hard to hit at the same time. And then their spells are kind of hard to see as they're coming through the giant horde of enemies. Make like a bit of an outline on those or something so that they're a bit easier to see as they're flying through the giant horde. And add in some way to actually hit the bosses. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of weird that she just literally can't even attack them most of the time. Pretty cool build, just kind of low on the actual numbers. Like 21% movement speed for being one hit away from dying. That just doesn't seem worth it. I just did it to test it out, I guess. But yeah, I don't feel like that was worth it. The XP one was slightly better, but I think the numbers could be tuned up a bit on both of those. Solar Pulse could probably be improved a bit as well. Just the scaling on each of those could be a bit higher at least. Necro Whirl is definitely good. If we had that as the second spell and more levels for the second infusion, that definitely would have been some nice DPS. Not terrible overall though. Interesting, and we tested out some stuff. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.